Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 4 of the Power Acoustic Guitar Bridge Reset and Refurb. Now, this was going to be the final part to this project. However, I've come across a bit of a problem, which I'll explain shortly. First of all, let me just show you where I am up to with this guitar. So I have now fitted all of the tuners, so they're all secured in and looking good. I've fitted a new nut as well, which luckily I didn't have to adjust for height. It seems to be exactly the right height. And I've polished and cleaned all of the frets and the fretboard itself. I've also oiled the fretboard with lemon oil, and the bridge as well has been oiled. And the whole guitar, I've cleaned it all up, the whole thing. So I went over the whole guitar, front, sides, back, neck and the headstock with 1000 grit wet and dry. So I did it wet and just went over the whole thing because it was quite a rough and dull finish. So after I'd done that, I then wiped it all down and cleaned it all off, and then polished it with my own creation, which is half boiled linseed oil and half natural beeswax. So I polished it with this, and it's come up looking really, really nice. Actually, a lot better than I was expecting. Sure, it's got a few dings and scrapes here and there, but there's no cracks, none of the binding is missing. It's in overall really, really good shape, and it's looking fantastic. So, to the problem that I've discovered, which to be fair was already here on the guitar when I first had it. So if we look here, just below the bridge, if I put this straight edge ruler on over here, on the guitar just behind the bridge, you can see we've got a bulge right in the middle, which was already there. I knew it was there. It had settled down, but it appears to have come back. I was expecting this anyway, to be honest. Now, there's no point putting the strings on this and getting it all up to tension, because once I do that, that's only going to get worse. So I've got to fix that before I can string this guitar up. Now, there are a number of ways you can fix this. One of them is to remove the bridge plate from inside the guitar, underneath the bridge. It's not very big, and that's part of the problem, part of the reason we've got this problem. Now, to remove that bridge plate and replace it with a new one, it's quite a big full-on job. It's quite an operation. So I've decided not to go down that route. There's another way you can fix these with a gadget called a bridge doctor, which is basically a block that fits up inside underneath the bridge. You have to drill a hole through the bridge and screw it in place. Then you have a dowel coming from behind that down to the tail block, which puts pressure on that and pulls this part down. Now, you can buy these bridge doctors. They're the equivalent of around $30. I can't buy them in Thailand. I would have to order it online and get it sent from the UK or US, which would be the same again for shipping, about another $30. I'm not going to go down that route because that's too expensive for what this guitar is going to be worth. So I've decided to make a bridge doctor. Okay, so again, quite a project. I've already started on some of the components that I will need for this bridge doctor, basically a chock of wood. And if you can see, I've marked out here where I'm going to cut out. So you'll end up with a wooden block with a U shape on the top. And this goes underneath the bridge, inside, and then you screw through the bridge straight into this block. And then I'm going to use one of these threaded bars as the dowel, which will go through the block, and this end will go up to the tail block inside the guitar. And then I'll use a system with these nuts to pull that down tight. Now again, that is quite a project, but it's going to cost me next to nothing because I've already got the materials. However, the downside of this operation is it's not an overnight fix. You have to put it all in place, make sure it's all lined up properly, and then tighten it a small amount. If you try and tweak it all the way down to bring this bulge out, something's going to crack and it's just going to give. So this is a process you have to do over several weeks or even months. You have to crank it down a little bit, let the wood settle, then crank it down a bit more, let the wood settle. Now between each of those adjustments, it can be 2, 3, even 4 weeks. So this project is a long way off being finished. So that's what I'll be doing to get this corrected before I string it up. So we will see this again in the future when I do finally string it up and get it all finished. It's a shame because I was really looking forward to getting this done and putting it on for sale. Anyway, that's going to be quite a long ongoing process, but to keep me occupied I have actually got another project, which will be this stunningly beautiful, electric guitar. So this is another guitar I've had in the shop for probably a year or more, waiting for me to take a look at to see what I can do with it. Now as you can see, there isn't very much to it. There were a few components on the guitar, which I've got here. Now if we look, I mean, it's all corroded and probably not worth saving. None of the electrics worked on this guitar. The tuners, as you can see, are just all rusty and really no good at all. Okay, so and as I said, none of the electrics work in this guitar. If we take the pick guard off and turn it over, you'll see it's a mess. And the jack plate as well, it's all rusty, the components are all corroded, so none of these electrics are any good. So this pick guard is in okay condition. The only problem with it is it's a previous owner has drilled an extra hole here, I don't know why, for the screws. Other than that, this pick guard is salvageable, so I'll be stripping it down and clean that up, and that'll just be a spare or for sale. Now, inside the body of the guitar itself, somebody has taken an axe to this and really butchered it. So I'm going to have to sort all this out, tidy this up. Structurally the body is absolutely fine, but I need to tidy that up, and as you can see, the guitar itself is looking pretty sorry for itself. So it's probably going to be a strip down to bare wood and either a respray or possibly leave it natural wood colour and oil or varnish it. Now the neck, overall in reasonable shape. I've had a look, I've checked it, it's all quite straight, but the frets are very flat. It needs a full fret job. But I've got to be careful because this is obviously anyway, a light wood, I can't remember the name of the wood offhand, a light wood fretboard, so I have to be very careful not to damage that. The headstock, I've never seen one like this before. I don't really like it that much, but there's not much I can do to change it. And there are some cracks. You can't really see them, but there are cracks where you've got the wings that join on both sides, so it will have to be stripped down and all repaired. And so this is basically going to be a complete full rebuild. Okay, so this is quite a project. I'm not going to start it until I've got all of the components, so I'm going to order a new one of these with all of the electrics in it. It's going to have a new jack plate, it's going to have a new plate for the back of the neck, new tuners, because the ones that were in it were no good, a new nut to go up here, new bridge and saddles, so it's going to have all new components. So it's quite a project. So that's another one for the future. So thank you very much for joining me again, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and why not share and even subscribe to my channel. Okay, see you next time. Bye.